at it again with another video. I promised that each and every Friday I was gonna go live and show my face. So here I go, here's my face as promised. And yeah, we're just gonna get into a little kickback. Now, normally I do not have a full agenda to discuss. Usually we just come on, kick back, see what we were talking about this week, which I was getting into this week and what I got into and things like that. But this week we actually do have a little bit of a topic to discuss. I did do a poll on my Instagram, Facebook, and here in the community section on YouTube. And hold on one second, let me turn this heat off. Hold on one second. It is hot down here. Now it's actually cold where I'm at, but it's hot in here, so I had to turn the heat down. Anyway, so normally we do not have a full-on topic to discuss, but I did ask in the community section here on YouTube. I asked in my IG, so if you're not following me on IG, it's Kells with 3 S's. And then I asked on the Facebook group for this channel what you guys wanted to talk about tonight. And I put in some like a mix of topics, and you guys leaned onto the very heavy topics to talk about tonight. And normally kickbacks, we just like come on in, you tell me what you're sipping on. You know what I mean? We got our squad mugs, we got our It's Kells mugs, if you cop that merch drop. And we just kind of kick back. But tonight we got some serious topics, and I had said on IG that we'll talk about it, and I will give my candid perspective on it with all reverence due to the topic, all respect due to the topic, but I will give you my candid feedback on it. And we'll just chill in here tonight and catch up on like the week's occurrences and, you know, what's going on. It's 7 o'clock. It's a little bit after 7. I promised I was going to go on 7 tonight. And my folks overseas are already sleeping, but they will catch it on the replay. And one of these days I'm going to go on early enough that my folks in London and all the overseas places can catch me live. But for now, on Fridays, we got to go on Eastern time, and it's a little bit after 7. So if you guys will come on in, chime in the comments, let me know your name, where you're watching from, what you're sipping on. And oh, hello from the UK. Yeah, what you're sipping on. And yeah, engage with me in the comments. I would so appreciate it. And also smash that like button as you come in. So as you can see, the title of this video is kind of a little bit risque, right? And I said, stop forcing Black women to date outside of their race. And I'm gonna tie it all into the topics that we're gonna be discussing tonight. But that's a serious subject line of this video. And so I will tie it all together. Let me remind you guys what the 4 choices we had to talk about tonight. Excuse me as I fix my chair. There we go. The 4 topics that we were gonna discuss tonight were, A was a Bumble date death, rip Lauren Smith Fields. And it's just about a situation where she ended up dying on a date that she found on Bumble, which is a dating app. And then choice B was men's mental health, what's going on. There's been a rash of suicides in the celebrity, ecosphere right now of men. And also there's a lot of these articles and think pieces coming out regarding the manosphere online and kind of how toxic it is. And so to me, those two kind of align: men's mental health, the suicides, and the toxicity online in the manosphere, right? And so that was option number 2. Number 3 was the stock market plunging. I lost how much? Okay, so your girl is heavy in the stock market. I'm heavy in the stock market, and a lot of money went down the drain. A lot of money has gone down the drain in January. And so I kind of wanted to see if you guys wanted to talk about that, but it looked like y'all not really into the stock market like that. So we'll talk about that another time. And then the 4th option was summer bodies are made in the winter, fitness results so far. So if you guys caught like my first or second kickback, you can see it here on my channel. I was talking about just getting back into my fitness, my physical fitness, my nutrition, and also getting back into, my meditation and just holistic kind of pursuits for the year. And so I've been really heavy on that in January, and I plan to hold it through the whole year because this summer I'm about to show out. It was cute the last 2 years, and the COVID weight was cute while it lasted, but it's a wrap for me on that. And so I have been doing a few things, and I wanted to see if you guys were interested in, you know, the fitness results so far. But those were the 4 options, yeah. But the ones that you guys picked were kind of the more serious options, which I'm not fully surprised at because they were hot topics during this week. But I'm slightly surprised at because they're so heavy for a Friday night. You know what I mean? But you know, your wish is my command. So I will talk about the top 2 options that came all through my polls that were on Instagram, Facebook, and here in the community section on YouTube. And those were option A and B, the Bumble date death, Lauren Smith Fields, and the men's mental health, what's really going on. Right? So come on in. You guys know the deal. Chime in the comments when you come in. Let me know your name and where you're watching from so I can shout you out. And also let me know what you're sipping on. Yeah? Tonight I'm sipping on just some lemon water. As I said the last couple of nights, got to keep the throat chakra lubricated and moisturized. You know what I mean? So I'm just sipping on that. And also, I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys, but I'm actually doing a dry January. And so I am not having any drinks or wine or champagne or anything like that. I'm not a big drinker, contrary to, you know, what you sipping on. But for January, I just really wanted to bring my body and my detox everything back down to like base holistic levels. So we're not drinking in January. So tonight it's lemon water for your girl, for the doll. Yeah. I see a couple of you guys have came in. I saw DB. Who else did I see come in? Let me give out just a few little shout outs real quick before we jump into the first topic. Who did I see? Sexy Monkey, hello from UK. Oh, this is sort of timely for me. I'm British, white male, and have a Jamaican queen. Oh, a Jamaican queen. A man who knows what he wants. I love it. All right, and then DB. Hey, Kells, sipping on Merlot. Okay, DB, sipping on some Merlot, some red. You know I love a little bit of red wine. Sasha, yes. Tell me if I'm correct in pronouncing that correctly. Sexy Monkey Sasha. Yeah. So, okay. So let's get into the first topic. So, all right. You guys may or may not have heard about this situation, but it's pretty big here in the States. It is a little bit of I don't want to say a little bit of a tragic situation. It is a hugely tragic situation that happened to a 23-year-old young lady named Lauren Smith Fields. She's 23 years old, and this happened in December. So this has been going on for a month, and her family had to really escalate it in the social media because they didn't feel like the case was being handled properly by the police. So the situation, very lightly, is that she was 23 years old. So, you know, she's good age, dipping and doing it. And she went on these dating apps, Bumble to be precise. And Bumble is the one where the woman gets to select the matches. So the woman, men get to go on the app as well, and they can swipe left or right or whatever, up or down or east or west. I don't know, because you know I'm not on the apps. But the men go on and like who they like, but it's the woman that opens the door. Yeah, so it's Bumble's understanding is that it's supposed to give some more ownership or command to the woman in the situation. Okay, so I think that's important because I think it sets a little bit of her mindset of her trying to and this is just me speculating and me just talking off the dome, so you guys know I'm trying to be as respectful as possible to the deceased and her family, while also just letting you guys know how I feel about the situation and talking about it. And please chime in the comments. I'm going to put the actual article that I'm looking at. I'm going to put it in the comments so that you guys can read up on the situation if you have not. Lauren, I'll put it in the comments right now. Okay, so I just put it in the comments if you want to check that out. So she was on Bumble. She matched with a man. The man was 37 years old. A lot of the article is making a big deal about that. but I don't actually find that to be a huge deal. And I'll tell you why in a little bit. So what happened generally, and I'm going to read bits of the article so you guys can hear the full like scholarly journalism that's around the situation. Right now I'm just talking off the dome just to give you a little bit of a premise of what happened with her. So she matched with, I'm sure she matched with a lot of people because she's absolutely gorgeous if you see her photos. And she went on a particular date with this 37-year-old male. The man happened to be a white man. And they took the date at her house. And so according to the man, they went to the house, they drank a little bit, they watched a movie, and they fell asleep. And then when he woke up, in the morning time, there was blood coming from her nose and she had passed away. So he frantically called 911 and she was pronounced deceased in her own home, in her own bed that same night. And so her family, apparently, according to her family, the situation wasn't taken seriously because the police didn't even contact her family to let her know that she had died. They put a note on the front door saying, if you're looking for Lauren, call us. And when her mother and her brothers were looking for her and was like, where's Lauren? Like, why we haven't heard from our daughter? When they went to her house, they saw the note, called, and had to wait, was told that she was dead and that the police officer was coming in 30 minutes and had to wait an hour for the police officer to get there. None of the evidence was taken. Basically, everything was done haphazardly. Nothing was done with any dignity and reverence to the life of this young woman. And the family really felt that it was a race issue because the man was an older white man, and 37 is not older. 37 is like regular age, you know what I mean? But when you're in your 20s, you think 30s is old, but a 37-year-old man is not an old man. But there was some speculation that he was actually friends with the police officers, so the police didn't take it seriously. And this is what the family is speculating. And so it's taken a month. So this is just coming into the news now because the young lady died in December. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of the premise of the situation. And so there's multiple layers that I kind of think we should talk about. One, the dating apps and Bumble. Two, trying to force Black women to date outside of their race and go against their intuition. Three, I'm trying to be very, very light with how I talk about interracial dating, because you guys know that look, the swirl is what it is. You know what I mean? You date, you love, you go where you're loved. You love who loves you, yeah. And so I'm not pressed about being in an interracial relationship. But what I'm saying is that there are things that come with it that you may not know, and that you may not be fully comfortable with, and that will cause you to go against your intuition. And I believe that's what's happened here with Lauren. Also, I think it ties into our number 2 subject, the men's mental health and the manosphere online, and how it can feel like men are against women and there's such a contentious relationship. And so it kind of forces women to go against their intuition when it comes to looking for a proper suitor. And those are some of the issues that I think we can discuss more deeply as it relates to the Lauren Bumble date death. But first, what I want to do is, one, ask you guys to chime in the comments. I saw a couple of you come in. Hey, Santhia, how's it going? And two, I want you to smash that like button as we get into the conversation tonight. And also, okay, I will read the article just so we get a little bit of scholarly information, because as I said, I want to discuss this with as much dignity, reverence, and respect for Lauren and her family as possible. But I also do want to tell you guys my candid opinion, and I want your candid opinion as well, because around here we learn from the collective wisdom of the It's Kells community. So it's not just me talking, because I love to do it, but it's also your opinion as well. So chime in the comments as we pull up the article here, and we're going to read exactly what the journalists have said about the situation so far. And I did pop the link to this article in the comments above. So if you want to read it yourself in full, then by all means, please do educate yourself. Yeah? Yeah. All right. So let me take a sip. Anyway, it's Kel's mug. Lips. And I saw a comment on my makeup. Thank you, boo. Love it. Love you. Okay. So let's hear the story. Let's hear a little bit of the story. I'm going to read it for you guys, and then we can go from there. Yeah? Okay. On December 12, 2021, a 23-year-old Black woman named Lauren Smith Fields was found dead in her apartment in Bridgeport, Connecticut after a Bumble date. In the month and a half since her death, her family has insisted that her case was not taken seriously and police bungled the investigation. This week, her death was ruled an accidental overdose, but her family still has questions, and they've announced that they plan to sue the city of Bridgeport for being racially insensitive and failing to properly investigate her death. Smithfield's case is far from the first time a Black woman's death has failed to receive the resources, attention, and public concern generally reserved for white victims. Smithfield's family lawyer, Darnell Crosland, has cited the case of Gabby Petito, a white 22-year-old influencer who disappeared and was eventually confirmed to have died on a trip she took with her boyfriend in September. Pause right there. You guys must remember the situation. It was out of Florida where two young I call them star-crossed lovers because it really reminded me of a Romeo and Juliet type situation. But she basically was a travel vlogger, and she went on a road trip with her boyfriend slash fiance, and the man ended up killing her on the road, driving her van back, staying with his parents for weeks, not mentioning where his girlfriend was at. And then he disappeared into the woods and ended up ultimately killing himself as well. So you had these two young people who ended up killing themselves over foolishness, over emotions and internet, stuff. And I called it kind of like to me, it seemed like a modern day Romeo or Juliet situation. But that is to say, that was a white, blonde hair, blue-eyed girl, 22 years old, same age as Lauren. Lauren's 23. And that was on the news, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, every news outlet that thing was on for weeks. For weeks, it was on there. And so what they're describing here is that situation where folks do not get the same treatment even though it's kind of similar situations, and they don't get the same reverence. So that's what Lauren's lawyer is referring to here when he talks about the Gabby Petito situation. Okay. It says, while her family awaits the results of an independent autopsy, Bridgeport has also opened a criminal investigation into Smithfield's death concerning the involvement of fentanyl. You guys know fentanyl is big right here in the streets. And apparently one little drop of it will drop you dead. So I don't really know what people are doing with this fentanyl. I don't know if they cooking it. I don't know what people do with fentanyl. But all I know is like one whiff of it and you could be dead. And I've heard this on a couple situations. I have not done the research into it. If anybody knows what the deal is with fentanyl and why it's so deadly and why people actually use it, please drop it in the comments. But as far as I know, all I hear about that thing is it's very deadly, and I'm like, what's the purpose of it? What's the point of it? But so apparently that was in her system. And then the article says, here's what we know so far. Smithfields had a Bumble date the night she died. So Smithfields was found unresponsive in the early morning of December 12th after a 37-year-old white man named Matthew LaFontaine called 911. LaFontaine had been on a date with Smithfields the previous night and claims that when he woke up